Every Social Security calculator tells you the same thing. Wait until 70 for maximum benefits. But here's the question those calculators won't ask you. Do you plan on reducing your lifestyle until 70, or are you planning on withdrawing anywhere between $200,000 and $480,000 from your retirement savings to bridge the gap? Now, I'm not saying waiting until 70 is wrong, but after years of helping retirees make this decision, I've seen too many people follow conventional wisdom or take advice from around the water cooler without understanding what it actually costs them. And I mean costs in every sense of the word, financially, emotionally, and sometimes even in terms of their legacy. In today's video, I'm going to break down the real math behind the wait until 70 advice, show you the hidden costs nobody talks about, and help you understand when taking Social Security early might actually be the smarter choice for your situation. And for more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Chapter 1, why every calculator tells you to wait. If you claim benefits at age 62, you'll receive a permanently reduced benefit. How much it's reduced is based on when you were born, because that is what determines your full retirement age. If you were born in 1959, your full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. And claiming at 62 would reduce your benefit by about 25%. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. Claiming at 62 would reduce your benefit by closer to 30%. If you wait past your full retirement age, your benefit increases by about 8% for every year you delay up to age 70. In a 2022 study by economists from the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Atlanta and Boston University found that more than 90% of workers aged 45 to 62 should theoretically wait until age 70 to maximize their benefits. There are three major flaws that aren't being talked about: spousal benefits, the cost of bridging the gap between 62 and 70, and what happens if you don't reach that break-even point in your 80s. Chapter 2, the bridge funding problem nobody discusses. So what does it actually cost to wait? Let's say you need $5,000 per month to cover your expenses in retirement, $60,000 per year. If you're delaying Social Security from age 62 to 70, that's 8 years where every dollar has to come from somewhere else. Do the math with me. $60,000 per year times 8 years equals $480,000, assuming that's zero inflation and no investment growth or losses. If you have $600,000 saved and you need $5,000 a month, waiting until age 70 could drop your portfolio down to $120,000 or less by the time you finally start collecting bigger benefits. That's if we're just talking about cash. The real kicker is the growth that those dollars never experience. One of the biggest risks to retirement portfolios is being in a position where you need to withdraw money to live on when the stock market is down significantly, because it takes more shares to produce the same number of dollars, and whether the market is performing well or poorly, every dollar you pull out is a dollar that can't grow over that 8-year period. And God forbid somebody retired in 2007 and was counting on their portfolio to bridge the gap until age 70. That person was in the market in 08, 09, and 2010. They weren't thinking about optimizing their Social Security benefit. They were worried about whether or not they were going to have to go back to work. Chapter 3, what your heirs never inherit. Here's something most people don't think about when making this decision. Social Security benefits die with you. Your kids will never inherit them. Your spouse might get survivor benefits, but your children get nothing. Let's compare that to your retirement accounts, whether it's your IRA or your 401k or your taxable investment accounts. Those assets pass to your beneficiaries. Under current law, taxable accounts get a step up in cost basis, and retirement accounts pass to their heirs with certain distribution requirements. So when you spend down $200,000, $300,000, or even $400,000 of your own savings to delay Social Security, you're directly converting inheritable wealth into a lifetime income stream that ends when you die. Now, if you have a strong desire to leave more behind, this creates a completely different calculation. You might rationally choose to claim earlier and preserve more of your portfolio as a legacy, even if it means a smaller monthly check. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm saying it's a trade-off that rarely gets discussed in the wait until 70 framework. Chapter 4, the emotional toll of watching your savings deplete. Let's talk about something that doesn't show up in break-even analysis. What it feels like to watch your retirement account steadily decline year after year. People tend to feel losses roughly twice as intensely as equivalent gains. In practical terms, watching your portfolio drop from $500,000 to $200,000 doesn't feel like normal decumulation. It feels like I lost $300,000. I've seen this play out with clients. The anxiety of watching their balances fall creates real stress. People start checking their accounts daily. They obsess over market headlines. Some make emotional decisions at the worst possible time, selling into a bear market out of fear, or becoming so incredibly conservative that their remaining assets can't keep up with inflation. And then there's the impact I've seen on relationships. I've seen couples argue about this decision. One spouse wants to maximize lifetime value and delay. The other can't stand watching their safety net evaporate and wants their guaranteed income now. When portfolio balances fall while you're deliberately not claiming a benefit you're eligible for, it creates this gnawing sense of, well, what if we're wrong about this? The emotional cost is real, even if it doesn't fit neatly into a Monte Carlo analysis. Chapter 5, when waiting actually makes sense. Now let me be clear, there are absolutely situations where delaying Social Security, especially until age 70, is a smart play. Here's when waiting typically makes sense. First, if you're in good health with a family history of longevity. If you expect to live into your late 80s or 90s and you have plenty of liquid assets, the math favors delay. The break-even age for claiming at 62 versus 70 is typically around 80 or 81 years old. Live beyond that and you'll likely receive more in total lifetime benefits. Second, if you can comfortably bridge to 70 without dangerous withdrawal rates. If you have $1 million or more saved, or you have pension income, or maybe you're working part-time, you can often delay without putting unsustainable pressure on your portfolio. Third, and this one's crucial for married couples, if you're the higher earner, delaying boosts the survivor benefit for your spouse. Because the surviving spouse receives the higher of the two benefits, having the higher earner wait until 70 can meaningfully increase income security for the survivor for potentially decades. Fourth, if you want more inflation-protected guaranteed income. Social Security is essentially an inflation-adjusted annuity backed by the US government. Delaying receiving benefits increases the cost of living adjusted portion of your retirement income floor, which hedges longevity risk and hedges inflation risk and eventually market risk. And finally, there can be some tax planning advantages. Some planners use the delay Social Security strategy to draw down IRAs in your 60s to smooth income, do Roth conversions in lower tax brackets, and potentially reduce future required minimum distributions and Medicare IRMA surcharges. Chapter 6, when taking benefits earlier makes sense. Let me walk you through the other side, when claiming earlier is often the smarter move. First, if you have health concerns or a shorter life expectancy. If you have chronic conditions, a family history of early death, or you worked in physically demanding jobs, your probability of living to the break-even ages in your early 80s is materially lower. In those cases, claiming earlier often results in more total lifetime benefits. Second, if you have limited savings and delaying would require unsustainably high withdrawal rates. If you have $300,000 to $500,000 saved and you need $60,000 per year, waiting until 70 could force withdrawal rates of 10, 15% or more in the early years. Any retirement research considers that dangerously high. Claiming at 62 or at your full retirement age can reduce portfolio stress and significantly lower those sequence of returns risk. Third, if you're carrying high interest debt or forcing phased asset sales. If delaying means you'll accumulate credit card debt at 20% interest, or you have to sell your home in a down market, claiming early can preserve significantly more wealth. Fourth, if you place a high value on legacy and leaving assets to heirs. As I mentioned earlier, preserving portfolio assets means more wealth passes to your children and grandchildren. Social Security stops when you die. Finally, the psychological factor. If the stress of watching your savings decline is affecting your quality of life, that matters. Retirement isn't just about maximizing dollars, it's about maximizing life. Chapter 7, how to actually make this decision. Let me give you a practical framework for making this critical, permanent choice. Step 1, let's get honest about our health and our life expectancy. Look at your family history, your current health conditions, and your occupation. If you're a white-collar worker, excellent health with parents who lived into their 90s, that's very different from someone with diabetes, heart disease, and a blue-collar work history. Step 2, calculate your actual bridge funding needed. Take your monthly expenses, multiply by 12, then multiply by the number of years between when you want to stop working and when you'd claim Social Security. Be realistic, include taxes. Step 3, stress test your portfolio. Can it handle that drawdown and still support you through your 80s or 90s? Run scenarios with poor market returns in the early years. That's when withdrawals hurt the most. Step 4, consider your spouse. If you're married and you're the higher earner, delaying may be less about you and more about protecting your spouse after you're gone. But if you're both in poor health, or if the lower earner has the longer life expectancy, the calculations change. Step 5, be honest about what you value. Do you care deeply about leaving a legacy? Are you terrified of running out of money? Do you value experiences now over maximum income later? There's no wrong answer here, just what your answer is. And finally, don't let conventional wisdom override your personal situation. This industry does a great job of promoting wait until 70 as the default advice, but defaults don't account for your health, your portfolio size, your family situation, or your personal values. The Social Security claiming decision is one of the most important financial choices you'll make in retirement. And as you can see, it's far more nuanced than wait until 70 for maximum benefit. If you're approaching this decision and want to see exactly how different claiming ages would impact your specific situation, your portfolio, your taxes, your legacy, we'd love to help you run those numbers. You can schedule a complimentary call with our team using the link in the description below. We'll walk through your complete financial picture and show you what the claiming strategy that makes the most sense for you actually looks like.